Hi, this is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations, and I'm here with today's Facebook Live, and we're also going live on YouTube. I've started broadcasting to both places at the same time, and that gets me very excited because it has increased our viewers. So thank you very much. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I go live every Monday at 2:30 Mountain Time and do what we call a live class. And I'm going to be teaching you how to make a card. And I like to take things that look kind of fancy and break them down in easy steps so that you can do them as well. So today we're working on an actual card in a box. And what that means, it's this little pop-up thing. So, it folds flat so you can mail it in the mail all flat, and then when they get it, it pops up for display. So I've sent these to many people who have left them on their mantle or the bedroom table or something because they think it's so fun to look at. So I love the fact when people want to hang on to my cards and keep them because that just means there's something special. So this is what we're making today. I did put in the description the measurements for the pieces for the basic box. What you want to pop out of it, that's up to you, whatever you want. Yes, the COVID is better. Thank you very much for asking. That was horrible. I'm still kind of tired from it, but I'm so glad it's over. Um, so happy Monday. I'm glad to see you here. And let's get started on our card because that's what you're all here for, right? You don't want to stare at my mug. So here we are down on the desk, and this is what we're making. Don't forget to put in the hashtag prize patrol, everybody. That gets you entered into the drawing at the end of our broadcast to win something. So make sure that you're a U.S. resident and you enter that hashtag prize patrol. So what I want to do is first off start by making the box because the box itself is what everybody finds so confusing. And it's really not. And I'm going to try to break that down for you today. So what I'd like you to get is a piece of paper. I'm going to start out with a standard 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. And then I would suggest a scoring board. Now it can be done on the trimmer. Because this is folding up and standing up, I like to be very precise. And the thing about this is if I jam this into the corner of my Simply Scored board, each of these little grooves is 1/8 of an inch. And as long as the paper doesn't move, those are exact. And I'm doing the whole thing because I want not only my 5.5 that's going to be my card, but the 3 inches at the bottom, one of those sections I'm going to use for the pieces in the middle, those cross members. And I find if I score them at the same time I'm scoring the box, they're going to be the same size, right? I'm not going to be off just a titch. So that's something you want to think about. Our stylus that goes with this has a fat end and a skinny end. What that means is the skinny end actually goes into the groove. The fat end rides on top. So I can use the skinny end because we are using cardstock. If you're ever scoring designer series paper, you probably want to stick with the fat end and keep it on top. Okay, now I'm going to start this out at 2 3/8. Now, normally I'll have my markers set so that it's really easy to follow. But I make this one a lot, so I kind of know what they want. That was 2 3/8. Then I'm going to go 5 1/4, 7 7/8, and 10 1/2. Then I'm going to spin this, and I'm going to score it at 3 inches. So fairly simple so far, right? Okay, now we're going to move to the trimmer. And like I said, you could do this on the trimmer, but make sure you are exactly on the line the same way every time you cut or score. Okay, so this way I want to go 5 1/2. And this part's going to be my card. Now this part here, if you notice, the score lines are at that 1/2 inch here, and then the next line over. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch over here. So I'm going to put my score line on the 1/2 inch line here. Of course you can't see. And then I'm going to cut this one. So that's going to give me kind of my Z fold. And this 1/2 inch is what's going to attach to the inside of the box. So to do that, I would suggest tear and tape or Stampin' Seal Plus, because you want something that is very strong that will hold it together. Because it's going to get a lot of motion, we want to make sure that it's good and sticky. So I'm going to add tear and tape, but I don't need the things to be this tall. I only need them to be half that. So I'm going to cut this in half at 1 1/2. And I did the tear and tape first because it just makes it easier. I apply it to 2 pieces instead of 4, but you can do it either way. And that's going to be our little mechanism on the inside that's going to hold up our props and allow it to open and close. Oh, I'm going to need to cut that white later. What I'm using for this one is the Pierced Blooms dies. If you look here, you can see that these have piercings in them, which I think is really cool. But you could use anything to pop up out of there. I've used balloons. I've used like all kinds of things. Christmas packages, little animals. I mean, anything. And I'm going to show you how we do that when we get there. I don't want it to get too ahead of myself. And I also gave you guys the measurements for what you need for the pieces that are going to sit on top of the box. So that's all cut for you ahead of time. This set does come with a set of stamps. This set of stamps has one good what do I want to call it? One good phrase, sentiment that I can use on this, because it will fit right onto our panel. This panel is only 2 1/8 wide. So I need a stamp that's going to fit in there. So obviously the happy birthday is going to be too big. So I just pulled out another stamp set. It can be any stamp set with phrases or sentiments. And so I grabbed this one because this was one we got for Celebration, and that ends today. So if you're looking to gather some of our freebies out of that Celebration brochure, make sure you place an order today, because today is the last day. Okay, so I went ahead and I cut out a whole bunch. You can't see my pile over here, but I have a whole pile of flowers that you will see when we get ready to decorate. I didn't cut out precisely which ones I wanted, because I wanted some of variety, and we're going to play around with that. But I keep a clear envelope on the inside of my case, and I put all my extra pieces in here, because a lot of times I'm just going to make a single card. I need a single flower, or just a couple. And if they're already die cut out, it just makes things that much faster. And I find if I keep them with the stamp set they go to, I'm more likely to use them. I used to have a drawer that had all of my scrap pieces in it, but it was rare that I dug through that big old pile to find exactly what I was looking for. This way, when I open up the stamp case, I know what I have. So I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to get going on our box. So I'm going to take some paper snips, and I'm just going to cut down these score lines. And I'm cutting off this little tab. So that's the only piece coming off. Then these, I'm just going to cut down to that score line. Now I'm cutting down the shorter piece, the 3 inches on the bottom. So I'm cutting down from the top on that 2 1/2 inch section. And those are going to be my flaps. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bone folder and score my lines. Hi, Nancy. You're not too late. The measurements are up there. You can always do replay. YouTube's going to have it forever, so you can get caught up. But don't forget to put in hashtag prize patrol so that you're in that drawing. Oh, and I went and I creased the back one. Now, if I had remembered, I wouldn't have scored this one. Because usually what I do is I save the back piece, which is going to have my attachment to it. And I usually don't burnish this score line because this is the part that's going to stand up in the back. But I'm going to put 2 layers of cardstock on it, so we'll be okay. That will straighten it out. Now, what I'm going to do now is I want to, oops, what did I do? I must have scored this wrong. Oh, 2 5/8. Okay. I had that one wrong. I apologize. So see, Nancy's not going to be lost at all. We're going to go 2 5/8, 5 1/4, 7 7/8, 10 1/2, rotate, score at 3. If you get the score lines wrong, don't feel bad. I do that a lot because you have to remember I was just cutting out all of the pieces that go on it. And all of these were 2 3/8. And so it just got kind of stuck in my head. But it's just paper, right? And it was at the beginning. I haven't done any stamping, so we didn't lose too much. Okay, back to this. So I'm cutting off this first one, burnishing my score lines. Is anybody crafting along with us? Maybe this little goof is helping people get caught up. We got to look at it positive, right? Okay, so I'm going to cut down here because, like I said, this is going to be my back panel that I do not want to be scored or burnished. Then I can do these. This thing going twisted is going to drive me all buggy. About ready to use some tape it down. It's weird, the things that bug us, huh? Okay, so this is where we were. This is where it's going to come together. And so I start out by adhering it flat because I know then it will pop up open and it will go back down flat and it will work. I had tear and tape. There we go. So again, extra sticky tape because it's going to get lots of movement. This is the take your pick tool. If you don't have one of these, you want one. They are awesome. I use them for all kinds of stuff. Okay. So there we go. There's our box. Not too difficult so far, right? Sorry. There. Stay put. Okay, this is our box. And it folds flat and it pops open. Now what I want to do is I want to insert our cross members. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the adhesive off only on one side. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to place this right about there. Because I want these two centered in there. So I want them both to go the same way. So since it was folding that way, we're folding that way again, and I'm just giving some room in between. And that's all there is to that part. Now you can see I have them straight because they're matching up at the top. If I did not have it perpendicular, these would be kind of cattywampus, which sometimes makes a difference, but sometimes doesn't, because they're not really going to see the inside of the box. We just need them there to hold up the pieces that are going to be popping out. So now we know that these Z pieces need to go this way, right? So we want them to attach over there on that side, but I want it to still close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of hold it closed and peel off those little sticky strips. Being careful that they're not touching anything yet. Come on. There we go. I think I got it. Okay. So I'm peeling off the backing, and I'm kind of holding them flat. See how they're not touching yet? I want to make the card go flat and let those touch. And I just gave them a slight press because I want to make sure it'll go both ways. Now I can go ahead and burnish the edges for that seal to go ahead and take shape and adhere really well. So now I have our box with the cross members. That's the only hard part. Once you guys nail this, the possibilities are endless. You can do so many things with this. And all we have to do now is decorate. So I went ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of glitter. So I'm using our glimmer paper. And I'm going to put that all around the bottom and in the back. So I'm going to bring those in. And you could do this with another color of cardstock. You could do it with DSP, you know, whatever you want to put on there to decorate. You know, of course, it's going to depend on what holiday or occasion you're making your card for. Can you imagine how pretty this would be at a wedding? You know, do it up in the bride's colors. I love it. I make these a lot like custom. Like I had a someone who graduated high school, and so we used their school colors, and I had a graduation stamp set. And then I went online and I printed off the school mascot onto cardstock using my printer, and then fussy cut it out, and I had their school mascot popping out of the box. So if, you know, someone you know has a favorite sports team, or, you know, a school they're going to, or, you know, some reason you want, you know, some kind of logo or something. I mean, obviously there's the copyright thing. You wouldn't want to sell them, but printing off for your own use. Okay, I've had several people have issues with the new Stampin' seal. If you do, let me know, and we will get together and work it out, because I have not had issues with it. It's never come unraveled on me. It's never gotten stuck. Occasionally it will break off in the wrong spot. The idea is you want it to break off up here, and you don't want any goobers back here, because that will grab the adhesive, and we don't want it to do that. But you'll notice I'm not having to advance the wheel every time, because when I do it, I snap off this way. I kind of give it a little bit of a check to make sure that it's breaking up here, so it feels sticky, like right at the tip, because that's where I'm going to start on my next layer. Okay, for the top, I decided instead of glimmer paper, I'm going to give it a pop of pink. So this is our polished pink. This is an in color. This one's actually going to be sticking around. The other colors that came out for, let's see, 2020 to 2022. The Misty Moonlight, Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Magenta Madness, all of those, they're going to be retiring. And we always know that. I mean, we're given far warning. So people are going to start stocking up. So if one of those are your favorite, they're going to go away long before this catalog does. It's kind of a well, supplies last in April, and then we'll get the new colors in May. So don't miss out on that. Okay. So that's just layering. That's just like on a card, right? You know, running out of tape runner is probably a shipping crisis. I swear, every place I try to order something from, shipping has gone all wacky since this whole thing started. It's not just Stampin' Up, it's everybody. And I'm sure it's stuck on a boat somewhere. But yeah, I agree. I need more tape runner. Okay, now I need the white layer. So those are all 2 1/8. So when I was cutting these, what I usually do is I cut the whole length of my 12-inch glimmer paper at the 2 3/8, and then I spin it and I cut it into my sections. This is going to be 2 1/8 because it's the next layer up. So I'm going to set it at 2 1/8. And then I know that I need it on the back 5 1/4. No, 5-inch. Last one was 5 1/4. This is 5-inch for the front, 5-inch for the back. So I have 2 of those. Then I have 3 little panels. And remember, we started off at 2 1/2, 2 1/4. So now we need 2. And I need 3. Let's see if it'll give it to me. Yes! Jackpot. Then I did some stamping onto these layers before I adhered them to the box. So I'm going to bring in my stamp set. And let's grab some blocks. Now, I love these photopolymer stamps for this set. I usually prefer the red rubber. I get a better impression with those, but that's why I have the fun foam. If you're using these, you want something underneath. But what I want to do is I want to be able to look through these. So when I place one on top of the other, I can look clear down through the block and be able to see where I'm placing the centers, which comes in very handy. So let's see, which ones do I want? Okay, so it looks like on this one I was using Daffodil Delight, Gorgeous Grape, and Polished Pink. Like, so you may have said that that purple looked more like Highland Heather, but that's because that's a second generation stamping. A lot of times when you're doing something like this, you want to stamp and say a So Saffron and put Daffodil Delight over the top. But I was doing this for a group that's not stampers yet. And when you don't have a lot of money to invest in all of the stamp pads, you can get 2 different shades out of each one by doing the second generation, which means I'm going to ink it up and then stamp off. So I'm going to take my flower, and it's full strength, right? I've inked it up. I'm going to tap it on my surface and then go to my card. So you'll notice those 2 are 2 different colors, basically. That stamp set did come with as a bundle. Because it's been out for a while, I don't know if it's still bundled together. They go together and they were a bundle, but a lot of times if you don't grab the bundle the first time around, it becomes two separate things and you don't get the 10% discount anymore. Okay, so now I'm using Gorgeous Grape, stamping off. Oop, that didn't go all the way. Okay, so I'm stamping off and then I'm going to my project. Let's do Daffodil Delight, stamp off, then go to my project. Okay, so I've got my lighter colors. Oops, on the edges. And then I'm going to use the full strength for the centers. There we go. So you can see that because I did the second generation stamping and then went over it, the middle is darker. And then I need a yellow. Let's wash this one off. This is part of our Simply Chamois. I cut mine into fourths. They're great for cleaning off these photopolymer stamps. Okay. So I did that on there. For the back, I'm going to do clouds. I don't know if you can see that in here. But because I've got my paper flowers there, I'm going to put the clouds in the background. This was done with the Basic Borders die. I use Balmy Blue ink and one of our blending brushes. So that's going to go on that one. But let's finish our flowers just because I have them out. Let's see. Guess I wasn't using the pink because the paper's pink. So I'm going to come in with the yellow. Should have done second generation. See, this is why we stamp before assembling in case we need to flip it over and restamp. I do that too. Okay, now I'm going to remember second generation. Almost there. I know you guys want to know how the flowers pop up. We're getting there. Okay. So you are amazing. And says, where would I be without a friend like you? And I couldn't wait for a special occasion. There we go. Now, if you want to line stamps up straight, I suggest using the grid paper. Again, I say this every time. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but some people are new. But I find if I lay my words down on a straight line and then I make this on a straight line, I have a better chance of stamping straight on my card. Doesn't always work, but you know, we give it our best try. Okay. Clouds. That'll be the last of the stamping, or the ink. Then we get to move on to our flowers. Okay, now when I ink this up, I swirl it around, and then it's going to be kind of blotchy in the middle. So I kind of start off and then swirl on so that I don't end up with a blotch, you know, in the middle. There's our clouds. Inside. Oh, you know, and I probably, because we're going on glimmer paper for those ones, I think I'm going to add a couple glue dots. The glue dots are thicker, and so the seal is going to grab the top layer. The glue dots will push into the bottom layer of the glimmer paper. That just makes it stick better. VUM today. I'm not sure what that means, Jessica. We have our front panels. We only have the one size of glue dots. The big box stores do have more sizes. Most of the things I use them for, I use the smaller ones anyway. You'll notice when we go to put our flowers in why I need small ones. Okay, so there's our base. Let's get all this out of the way. Put that over on the Stampin' scrub so they get cleaned. And bring in our flowers. Like I said, I made a big old pile. We have choices, many, many choices. When I put them together, I don't know, I didn't want the same color touching each other necessarily. So I found afterwards that what I had done was done one of each color in a row. So I know I want, you know, at least 3 of each. So let's get some variety here. I'm going to start with that one. And I'm probably being too systematic here. You probably want to be more random than I am. I have that problem. All those years of accounting, I just can't be spontaneous and creative. It's weird. But we're going to do some mix and match. Let's see, I need more of this color. See what I mean? This is weird. Just trying to match them up. I'm trying not to be doing the same thing all the time, but apparently I am. Oh well, we'll make it work. I'm going to quit messing with it. We're going to put our flowers together, and then I'll add some leaves, and we're going to stick them in the box on these little sticks. And these little sticks are only about 1/4 inch wide. So that's why I need the mini glue dots, because that's the only ones that'll fit. And what these are is just window sheet. If you've seen that in our catalog, we used to have overhead projectors when I was a kid. You remember the clear sheets that go on there or over the top of book reports? Or I grabbed this piece because it's kind of got some water stains on it. Maybe you can see it better. But this is the top of a box of muffins. So it's just, acetate. And then I just cut it with my trimmer. You probably wanted to use a different blade because it's going to dull different than with paper, or use some scissors, but cut it up into little strips. And then I put them all in a baggie so that when I go to make one of these cards, I have a whole stash of them. And I'm going to use my glue dots to glue my centers. So I'm going to use my paper to pick them up. And then I'm going to use my stick, and I'm going to do 2 of them. 2 of them seems to stabilize it. When I only did 1, I don't know, for some reason they rotated. I don't know why. They shouldn't have, but they did. So I'm putting 2 there and then 2 on the bottom, and I find that way they don't wiggle around. Let's see. Let's add some leaves. So I'm using fresh freesia, which is this purple. It's an in color, so is the polished pink and the pale papaya. And I've got some melon mambo and some daffodil delight, and leaves are garden green. Okay, so I've got 2 glue dots there. And then I'm just going to stick it down in the box. Have that one go that way. Oh, we need the back layer too. Okay. Okay. Oh, I made a match. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Now these leaves come in little sections, and I've been cutting them apart and hooking them on because I don't really need the whole length of them. These are probably too small for this size flower, but they can be broken up and used in pieces. Okay, now when I stuck this one on here, I stuck this one on with a glue dot. It can be if you want to. It doesn't necessarily have to. It just gave it a little more dimension. Oh, I don't like that. Eek. I thought that would be better contrast. It's not. Okay. There we go. Okay, these ones are where we can use the littler leaves. If anybody hopped on late, don't forget to enter hashtag prize patrol. We're going to do our drawing at the end of the video. And we're going to pick a winner. I know everybody wants to win this one because I usually mail out the card as my little gift. Maybe a little extra something in it, but I'll tell you what, anybody who places an order today, I will mail them a card in a box. How's that sound? That way everybody can win. If you don't win the spinner, you can just place an order and I'll send you one for free as a thank you for shopping with me. Okay, let's see. Oop. But this is basically how we're going to do it. We're going to assemble all of our little flowers. We're going to put them on little sticks, and they're going to come popping up out of the box. 2 glue dots on the top, 2 glue dots on the bottom. Keeps them nice and stable. And then I did 3 on each layer. So there you go. That's today's card. I'm going to finish this one off camera so I don't bore you guys, because I know you're all waiting to see who gets to win the card, right? I already have that up on another screen. So let me switch this up and share my screen, and we'll spin for Prize Patrol. Everybody has that entered? Hashtag Prize Patrol in the comments. Share screen. Okay, so here's our drawing. We have 8 entries. Oop. Joanne, make sure you put the hashtag in front of it and then group it together all as one word. Melinda, yours is in 2 words. You want it just like it is on the screen. Hashtag Prize Patrol, all one word. Kind of waiting for you guys to re-enter so that it's typed correctly and you get counted. There we go. Okay, 10 entries. Remember, if you don't win, you can always place an order and I will mail you a card in a box. So Mary is our winner. Congratulations, Mary. You are today's winner. So make sure you go to the, let me stop sharing this one. Come on. Go to the claim form to claim your prize. And that's just to make sure I have your address. Mary, I know I do, but I want to say this each time. So you guys will fill this out and give me your address so I know where to mail the prize. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope you found some inspiration in today's card. Thanks for joining me. Bye.